What's up, guys? I'm here with my friends Joel and Lolo, and we are gonna take a politics quiz today. And I know basically nothing about Swedish politics, and the whole idea of this quiz is to see who I should vote for based on the questions. And that's why I needed to bring some real Swedes in to kind of explain these questions to me, because the whole quiz is in Swedish. And I can speak like basic Swedish, but when it gets into like politics, like advanced vocabulary, it can get kind of tough. So you guys can help me through it, explain what it means, and we'll see if the American opinion can differ from like what you guys were raised with.
We're gonna be the experts, basically, right?
You guys are the experts. All right. So we're gonna open this quiz up on our phones. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Got it.
You can see the quiz looks like this.
If the viewers want to do it, it's called SVT Valkompassen.
Okay, Valkompassen.
Valkompassen.
All I see
great.
is the little smiley faces at the bottom. So I guess if you agree, you do like the really big smiley face. And then if you disagree, you do the
It's
frown
the angry
face.
one.
Yeah, and
Okay.
also this little jello box, they can't see it, but if you check that, it means it's a very important question to you. Like you really hold this close to your heart.
Extra viktig fråga.
Extra viktig fråga.
Så
Okay,
viktig fråga.
so let's jump right in.
Let's do
Question 1 on the quiz.
Yeah. So, en förmögenhetsskatt ska återinföras. Basically wealth tax.
Wealth tax.
Should
Seriously
wealth
wealthy.
tax be reintroduced?
So I feel like people that make a lot of money should I feel like you already pay a lot of taxes in Sweden, but if you are making a lot of money, it is good that you can somewhat give back. I'm gonna give it just a semi smiley face, not the full on grin, but a little smiley. You guys already do have a lot of taxes here though. Do you guys want to share your answers too?
Yeah, sure. I did a small smiley face as well.
Small smiley face?
I did a sad one.
You were
like
sad
the
face?
half sad one.
No taxes.
Not super sad, but like
Who's the
Okay.
American
Nice.
here?
Just a little sad. Yeah. I mean, she does live in America now, so it's corrupting her brain.
Uh-oh.
Taxes are terrible.
hate that. What?
All right.
So, rutavdraget ska utökas. So rutavdraget, I don't know how to translate that, but it's basically if you have services like someone cleans your home, someone does your garden, you can take off your taxes on that. So you pay less taxes.
Okay.
So
Because you have someone fixing your garden.
Yeah.
So if you can
So
like
the serv-
deduct the taxes from like a maid cleaning your house.
Yeah, basically the service becomes cheaper for you to do, and that way the whole point of it is they think that since a lot of people hire people black, like unofficial, they want to make it so you hire them the correct way because it makes it cheaper to hire them that way.
Okay.
But a lot of people just think they give rich people, people who are like already afford a cleaner, they get it even cheaper for that. While poor people who don't even afford
I think
it.
if it promotes hiring people legally, I would support it.
Yeah.
So that would be a smiley face. I'm gonna say just a normal smiley face, I think.
I'm gonna do the same one.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna do a small frowny
A
face.
small frown.
because in my opinion, I don't think it needs to be higher, but that's just my opinion.
Keep the black money going. Everything under the table.
We love the black money.
The black Swedish money. Alright, question 3.
Okay.
Amorteringskraven på bostadslån ska tas bort. So if you have a mortgage, right now in Sweden it's like this: if you take a mortgage, you have to pay back on the mortgage. You can't just pay
Just the interest you have to actually
exactly.
pay.
You can't just pay the interest and have the mortgage forever. You have to pay back on the mortgage. And this, I think it's 3%. And this asks, should they remove that requirement or should they keep the requirement?
Ooh. I think
What would happen if they removed it?
I think the whole point they introduced it was because in Sweden right now the house market is like accelerating a lot.
True.
And they want to like stop it from just going up. They want to like make the house prices a bit more normalized.
Yeah. I think because it's so hard to find places here, you should be paying towards it. Because like if you're not doing that, there's other people that would buy your house.
Yeah.
right? Like in America, it's one thing when there's like plenty of places to live. But like in Stockholm, when you got to be on a waiting list for 20 years and people are just sitting there paying the
I'm
interest.
still on the waiting list.
Yeah, it's like, I think if you're going to buy something, like, actually buy it. Don't just like pay the interest as like your rent.
Yeah.
Basically rent it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, I think the main disagreement people have with this is that they think the state should not intervene between like a private person and the bank.
I can see that.
That they should stay out, but at the same time I think, now I don't know if it actually works, but the whole point is to try to make the property market more accessible to people.
That's true. Yeah, I would, like, my gut instinct, like, if I was in America, would be like, the government should stay out of it and, like, you should have your own business. But just, like, living here and knowing, like, how in demand it is, and knowing that people could kind of use that as a way to just circumvent and, like, sit on a place forever, I think it might actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
So that would be a smiley face.
Yeah,
I guess like
no,
a
wait.
small
If you do a smiley face on it, you mean they should remove it.
Oh.
If you do
Okay.
a frowny face,
So I'm
you
a slight frown. I haven't, like, been seriously one way or another on any of these questions. I haven't been, like, an angry face or a, like, really excited face yet.
Neither am I.
So,
I'm not that opinionated, so I feel like I'm never gonna be a super hard frowny face or a super sad.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want
Next
to explain
one.
the next one, Lolo?
No.
Okay. All right. We'll just name Joel
I
as
think
the
Joel is
expert.
doing it.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. I just want to make sure
I'm
you're
just
feeling.
taking a test.
I just want to make sure you're feeling included
Alright,
here.
thank you.
Okay, so statens investeringsstöd till byggande av nya hyresrätter ska tas bort. Basically, right now it works like this in Sweden. If you're a property builder, like if you build properties, the state actually gives you a subvention, like they give you money to build small apartments, like cheap apartments or student apartments, because otherwise, right now, a lot of people just want to build like super expensive apartments because
Yeah.
those are easy to sell.
Yeah. So all these laws, I feel like, are to like help the housing situation. It seems like.
Yeah, a lot of it is.
And it's like these laws are going into effect because it's so hard to find housing places. The government is like, this is their way of maybe like trying to get stuff going. And there is kind of a housing crisis in Sweden. Like, it's really tough to find places. Like, even in Norrköping, a small town, to rent a place is like a 2 or 3 year waiting list.
Yeah,
and,
it's insane.
so I just think like anything that's gonna help like get more places for people to live, I'm gonna support that probably. So that is a smiley face.
No.
Frowny face.
Yeah, because this means it's gonna like
Yeah, they're gonna remove it.
and we don't want to remove it.
So a frowny face to keep
yeah,
it.
I think it's
Frowny
gonna be
face.
like that one. Oh, you did the like the half.
I haven't committed to it because I'm
Alright.
not like super, because I don't want the government to be like super involved, but it's like I understand the situation, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't think they should take it away.
What are you gonna?
I'm gonna do the like that
The
one.
big frowny
Just-
face.
yeah.
First big frowny
damn.
face of the
First
day.
one.
Damn, girl.
Oh damn!
Shit.
It's getting serious.
Oh.
Alright. Question
I
5.
just did a curse word.
Oh no.
So I think this one should be pretty easy to use, Stefan. It says Sweden should be multicultural.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
a big frowny
that's a
face
big
to
one.
me.
Any place should be multicultural.
Yeah,
I think.
so.
Yeah.
This one says we should take less refugees.
That's a really tricky one.
And it's
That's
not,
a
it,
tricky
it
one.
doesn't say
Yeah.
immigrants, it says refugees.
Refugees.
So,
It's tough. This is an issue I've always like seen both sides of,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
the refugees are coming from a really tough place where they don't have anywhere to go. But I also know, like, me being an immigrant and like seeing how backed up the migration agency is, and like seeing that it can be hard for people to fit into the society right away, I can definitely see both sides of this issue. I don't know, which way do you guys lean on this one?
I always
I
think
think-
like this,
yeah.
but I always feel like this. I realize that a lot of things might not get better for the people already living in a society if you take a lot of refugees, because I feel like what you have, you're gonna have to share it with more people. So a lot of people might be against that,
Yeah.
but I feel like you should always be free to move wherever you want in the world.
Yeah.
If you're from a poor country, if you're from anywhere, I think you should be able to get yourself a future, no
Yeah.
matter where you're born. So I don't think we should take less refugees, even if it might be worse for the Swedish society. I think it's better for the world as a whole.
Yeah, it's a really interesting perspective. What about you, Lola?
I mean, I feel like I don't know.
Here's
It's a really tricky one.
Here's the problem I have with it. Like, if a refugee comes here and they're able to like come and support themselves,
Right? Can they support
and
themselves? Can they
function
have a
in the
good
society,
life? Like that's.
then
yeah.
I'm absolutely like okay with taking more people. But I guess I'm just not super educated on the issue and the stats. And I know it's really challenging coming from another place where you don't speak the language. And like I've been really lucky because I speak English and most Swedes speak English. But I can imagine coming from a place that's completely different where you don't speak the language. It's tough to find a job, all these things. And I think if you're coming to a country and you can't work in that society and you can't get a job, then maybe it's too tough, and maybe Sweden should focus on the people that are here and get everybody caught up.
I mean, it doesn't talk about getting more people though. It's just talking about like not like less people.
Yeah. So
it's not about like letting more people in. It's about like not letting as much people in. You know. So it's like it could stay the same. Yeah. And right now I feel like it works.
Yeah. So,
I mean, like people.
I don't know.
When you have my opinion, when you have my opinion, people always think you're stupid, like because they think like you're naive, that you don't look at the whole problem, and there might be some truth to that, to be honest. But like I feel like to me, I just value so much that as a person, you should be able to go wherever you want. You should be able to travel wherever you want. If you're born in a really poor, shitty country, you should be able to just get yourself somewhere, get yourself a future. And I value that so much. I think to me, I don't think there should be any borders really that prevent you from going anywhere.
I love traveling, so.
But that's just my opinion, and it's obviously very different.
It's a hard one.
It's tough because like I think about myself. If I were to move to a society that's like completely different, and I had to live off of that system, it wouldn't really be fair to the people that are living there. Like if I were to move to China or something, and I don't speak Chinese and I can't function, would I be like comfortable like taking money from the Chinese government every month and just like learning Chinese and not supporting back in any way? I think I would have a really hard time with that. And I think it's different based on every single situation. So I think it's really up to the people to evaluate, like, are the people that come here, are they able to support themselves, and are they able to contribute back? And if the answer to that is yes, then I have no problem with taking more people. I just think I'm not educated on this issue enough to actually vote one way or the other, so I'm actually going to not vote on this
I'm
one.
actually going to skip the question also.
I'm actually going to give it a small frowny face.
A small one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is kind of on the immigrant integration issue as well. So bönerop i offentliga miljöer ska stoppas. Bönerop, I don't know how to say that correctly in English, but a prayer. Like, Muslims, not only Muslims, but mostly Muslims do these large prayers where I think they play music and they have like a priest.
It's like a tower kind of thing.
Yeah, and they have a guy like shouting the prayers, and then all of them pray at the same time. And I think in Muslim countries they do this like 6 times a day or something. Okay. But in Sweden they've allowed it to be like 2 times a day or something in some places, and some people really don't like this because we're traditionally not a Muslim country, right?
It's so different than what you're used to.
So they think it's a disturbance because it's like kind of loud and they don't like it, and
you can hear it like really far, so it's like it's really loud.
So the question is if they should
allow it or not.
If they should stop allowing it.
I think it should be allowed. I mean, I've never been much of a religious person, and I don't really like identify with those practices myself, but I think that people should always be allowed to celebrate their beliefs in any way they see fit. But I can also see like the flip side of if it's disturbing other people around them. It's like I might be a super fan of like Eminem, for example, but I'm not going to blast Eminem at like 11 p.m. every night. Like that would be disturbing the peace. So this is another issue that like Mrs. Party Girl over here.
We'd blast the hard style.
So the question is, should we allow Lolo to listen to Eminem on full volume, 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night every week? I'm gonna say no to that. Just because we live next to But if it's Friday, Saturday,
You don't
Sunday.
like listening to my music over there?
Actually, I just get jealous and want to come over. So I'm gonna say, God, this is
I don't
another
think it's
tough
gotta
one.
be stopped. I think it's okay.
I think it's okay too.
Yeah, I think so. I'm
It's not that
super
long.
liberal.
It goes on for like a little time and then it's
Yeah.
over. So
And
like,
I've never, like,
I
seen
really
it-
feel like it would be okay.
I've never really
Yeah.
seen it myself, so I don't think it can be that disturbing. Like, I've been in Sweden for a year and
Yeah.
I've never been like, oh, that's super disturbing.
Well, I remember when I went to Turkey. That's actually the only time I've heard it.
Yeah.
And I remember like the first couple of nights or like mornings. I heard it like 6 in the morning or something, and I woke up. But like I think the third or fourth day, I got used to it, so I didn't even think about it anymore.
Like, not to take it that far, but honestly, in Sweden, we actually like allow Nazis, like new Nazis, to have like
Yeah.
where they march for their things. So if we allow that, wouldn't it be kind of weird to not allow
Yeah.
it?
It's like freedom of speech. It's like in America,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you can say and do what you want as long as you're not hurting anybody else.
I agree.
And I think that's completely fine.
No, wait. It's
So-
the sad. Yeah, I was like,
It's the
wrong
sad
one.
face.
Yeah.
It's the frowny face.
So it's a frowny face
It's
if
a
you
frowny
think they
face.
should do it. Like they
Yeah,
can
if
do
you
it.
think they
Yeah.
can do it,
That's
fine.
gonna be
Yeah.
like the super frowny face for me because I
Oh,
think like
shit.
it's freedom of speech. Honestly, it's freedom of speech.
I
So,
agree.
yeah.
So, entry job, inträdesjobb med sänkt ingångslön ska införas för nyanlända. Entry jobs, basically they want to do entry jobs where people who come in, like as yourself, they can get 70% of like the normal salary, and you can hire them for the first 3 years. Oh yeah, there's something else. You don't need to pay tax. Arbetsgivaravgift.
Wait, you don't need to pay tax?
Yeah, so if you hire them, you don't need to pay tax for hiring them, basically.
On
as
the employer side.
On the employer
Do
side.
the person make as much money or do they make less?
I think the person makes less. I think they only
So
make
the employee
70%.
makes less
Yeah.
money.
So I don't really understand the inträde.
I don't really understand the meaning
job.
of it.
It's because
Inträdesjobb.
it's
It's
because
like
they think
yeah.
these people might not actually be qualified for the job properly, so they're gonna be paid a bit less. So the employer might be like, oh, we can pay these people less, and it's completely legal.
Yeah.
Because usually you can't do that in Sweden. Like if you have one position, you got to pay everyone in the position the same.
Yeah.
And then
So wouldn't this be kind of if you would start working at a Swedish school and
which I
they
did.
were like they will be like, oh, maybe your Swedish isn't that good. Then they will be like, well, yeah, you get the job, but we're gonna pay you less.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
you
I
don't
think
know Swedish.
employers should be able to
that be
pay
good?
however much or however little they want for somebody. Like if my skills are valuable to make a certain salary, pay me more. If I don't have the skills,
I
to
feel
be as
like it's gonna be
effective, pay me less.
misused though. Like something like this is definitely gonna be misused. You're gonna be like, yeah, no, we don't think you're qualified.
Yeah.
And then
I could see
they're
like
gonna
a
try and pay you
situation.
less just because it's gonna be better for
Think
them.
about teaching, for
you
example,
think?
though. Like in a
Yeah.
country where they need teachers so bad, it's like maybe they should hire people that don't necessarily have the full qualifications that would still be good candidates. But then, like, should they make as much money as somebody who's a qualified teacher? Probably not. So I think it's really up to the business. And as a person, you should be able to bargain on your own behalf and say,
Yeah.
this is how much I'm worth. Like, you don't have to take the job. If they offer you less money, you can be like, well, screw that. I don't want less money.
That's right.
I'm going to go
Yeah,
apply
that's true,
somewhere
that's
else.
true.
So I think I'm totally okay with this one.
But does this mean they always need to be like this, or just like it could be like this?
they can.
They can do it
but
if they want to.
I actually do not agree with this. Just because I think it will create
think
a
people just gonna-
barrier.
yeah.
It's gonna make people who come here even poorer, and it's gonna just make it harder to integrate them. But I might be completely wrong on that. But
I feel like if it's used in the right way, as you used to explain about it, I think it's good. But if people if they start using it in the wrong way and misuse it and just
It gives power to the employers.
Right.
But like as an individual, you have to like stand up for yourself and say like, this is how much
Yeah.
I'm worth. But I can understand like as a newcomer, if you don't speak the
I mean,
language
if
or
you
other
don't get a
things-
job, then you're not allowed to be here.
Yeah.
So if you
exactly.
lose your job and someone want to pay you less, then
Exactly.
it's hard for you to just be like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to work for
Yes,
you.
Stefan.
But like if I, I've always
Maybe
got,
you should just go home.
yeah, but
Du
like,
kan gå hem.
yeah.
Jag hade gjort det,
It's true.
gör.
But like I'm really lucky to come from a situation where
Yeah.
like if it didn't work out here for some reason, I could always go back
You can
to a
always go
different
home,
country or to America or any other English speaking country and get a job where I would be paid fairly.
English-speaking country?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay,
Yeah, I mean, I could go to England or Australia and
Oh, I mean, like,
I speak
I was
English.
like, you're
so.
in Sweden, so I was like, English-speaking
Maybe-
country. I was like, well, I don't
Maybe
know.
we should move on from this.
Yeah,
one.
we definitely should.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I gave it a frowny face because I don't like it. But if you think this is a good idea, you should give it a happy face.
I'll give it a
I give
happy
it like
face.
a small happy face.
Yeah, I think the businesses should decide how much they want to pay.
And the other one is könskvotering ska införas med minst 40% av vardera könet i börsbolagens styrelser. So any limited corporations board should have I don't know how you say könskvotering, but basically what they're gonna do is you have to have some women on it,
Yeah.
and you have to have some men
At
on
least
it.
40%.
At least
At least
40%, yeah.
40%, yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to be like 60-40 between men and women.
Yeah. I think it's a good law because it promotes equality.
Yeah, I think so too. But
It
is
could-
this talking about like every single
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
company?
tough. Like maybe it's an
like,
industry
think
that
about-
doesn't have a lot
right,
of
that's what we're
women.
talking about. Like,
I think the percentage should reflect maybe the
what if
percentage.
you're a hairdresser?
Yeah, and maybe there's not a lot of guys in the industry on
Right?
the flip side.
Yeah.
So that's
Or if you work with cars. It's not that many
Yeah.
women working with cars.
That's true. Let's say you're in an industry where it's 90% male,
Yeah.
but you have to have 40% representative. Like I've always been a kind of person where I feel like the percentage of the representatives should be the percentage on the board. Like
I
in a-
still think this is good though. Yeah.
so, but I can see why this does promote
it is
equality.
the difference, like, you know,
Yeah.
and I mean, males have a higher chance, like, of hiring, like, or promoting, like, another male and same for females. So I
true.
feel like it might be good to, like, you know,
Yeah.
like, just change it up.
Yeah, it's just hard to say across every single industry.
Yeah, it's hard to say, like,
it has to be
yeah,
this way.
exactly.
I feel like a lot of people disagree with this just because they think obviously the state should not concern themselves with how you hire. But I feel like at the same time, if you don't do this, like if you don't put women in, like force women into some boards,
Yeah.
you're actually doing the opposite because men tend to choose men, women
Exactly,
tend
yeah.
to choose women as well. But
That's
if
what
they-
you said.
It's true. So I think we gotta say support it. We gotta
Yeah.
support the
I'll
equality.
support
So that's
it.
a smiley.
Smiley face.
Okay.
Last
Okay.
question.
Last question for the video.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
So föräldraförsäkringen enligt lag ska delas lika. What it basically means is right now in Sweden you have paid I'm pretty sure it's this, but in Sweden you have paid I don't know what you call it when you stay at home with your kids.
Paternity, maternity leave.
Paternity and maternity leave.
Yeah.
You have that, and you have paid, like it's paid by the government,
Mhm.
and you get some weeks to do this,
Yeah.
but you don't have to split them up. Like the mom can be home the whole time.
Yeah.
What they want
Yeah.
to do is that they want to give the dad half of them,
Mandatory.
and the mom half of them, so it doesn't put women in a worse position, I think.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Of course, the women.
Yeah, of
think
course
so.
I
I
think
think
that's good.
I think every family should have the ability to choose, though.
But right now, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can have that discussion. Like, do we want to do half-half? And it's like in Sweden,
What's
you
it like
already get
right
all these
now?
paternity days.
Is it
I think it's completely
is
free.
it just like up to the couple?
I'm not gonna be 100% on this, but I think you're completely free to do as you
Yeah.
like right now.
Yeah.
I think this is like the government's meddling where they don't have to, because if you're in a good relationship, like
Then
those
you're
are
gonna
discussions
do it,
that you can
yeah.
have within
Yeah.
your own family.
Yeah.
It's like, why not give yourself the choice rather than take away
Isn't
the
it right
choice?
now also that if you actually split it up, they get more benefits in some
Yeah.
ways? I think.
that'd
I'm
be
pretty
good.
sure it is.
I'm not gonna.
I don't
swear on that,
know.
honestly,
I'm not-
I don't
yeah.
feel like the parent area is somewhere very close to me. Not yet.
Yeah. I just think I guess I just don't see like why enforcing that would be like
Yeah.
super beneficial when you already have the chance to do that.
Yeah, that's
You're
on
true.
your
right.
own.
Yeah, that's right.
So I say just don't take away people's choice.
That's true.
really. So,
Oh, I agree.
I
Yeah.
agree.
so that would be
so that would be a sad one.
Yeah.
that'd be a sad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd
Yeah.
that's gonna be a full-on sad for me, just because you shouldn't take away the person's choice.
Yeah,
in my
I
opinion.
actually
Yeah,
give it a full on
I
sad
actually
one.
agree.
Okay.
2 hours later.
Okay. Okay.
Moment of
Messed
truth.
up.
Moment of truth.
Let's do
Let's
it.
see. I wonder if
Yeah.
we're gonna vote for the same
We're
people.
probably gonna have kind of similar ones.
Wow.
Oh.
We
Oh.
all are.
They are
Whoa.
really similar.
Who is the biggest party in Sweden?
Socialdemokraterna.
They're the biggest ones,
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they only 39% for me. So.
Yeah.
I got 41%.
So I'd say okay. So, do you call the right wing the Republicans?
Yes.
Yeah. So your right wing is the Republicans. Our right wing are all the blue ones, and I'd say
that one,
Centerpartiet is
yeah.
kind of right wing as well.
So your blue is Republican,
Yeah.
and your red is Democrat.
Your Democrats for your left wing is still more right wing than our right wing.
Yeah.
I have to think about that. Oh yeah, so they're
So-
just more liberal in general in Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
so Socialdemokraterna are
Yeah.
socialists.
Oh, okay.
Because socialism is really strong in like Scandinavia overall.
Yeah.
So our left wing is actually like really left. They want like basically Vänsterpartiet. They used to be like the communist party.
Oh wow.
So they're not communists
How
anymore.
much did you get
Interesting
on the
how-
Vänsterpartiet?
30%. So actually, if you look at these trends, we're actually leaning a little bit more right wing with our answers compared to the left wing, because our reds are much lower than our blues.
Yeah.
We
So
could-
for Swedes, we're actually a little bit more on the conservative side.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And I'd say probably if we looked at American politics, all of us would lean Democrats, right?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Like I was a
Yeah.
huge supporter of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Yeah.
And so I think it's not weird that we get similar results.
Yeah, but the Central Party, they're like right in the middle, right? So they're not leaning one way
no,
or the
they're-
other.
They're
not.
yeah,
They're right
yeah,
wing.
They are.
Oh, they're right wing.
They're right
Yeah.
wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're actually all considered conservatives then in
Yeah.
Sweden.
Yeah, I'd say like they all our right wing are somewhat conservative. I'd say Moderaterna, Liberalerna are supposed to be more liberal, like at least market liberal.
Yeah.
And then like Kristdemokraterna is the most conservative party.
Is that like religiously related?
Yeah,
Kristdemokraterna?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it is.
religious party.
Interesting.
Or was
Okay.
from the beginning.
It's crazy that you guys have so many parties, and it's kind of confusing, like
Yeah.
who to vote for, because I feel like in America there's two sides,
And that's it.
and that's it. Which
That's it.
it's tough for me too, actually, because living in America, I feel like I'm very liberal on some things. I'm very conservative in some ways, like financial policies. A lot of times I lean Republican, but like in terms of social issues and like the things that the Democrats support, I usually lean that way. And then, like the environment is my biggest issue. And in America, a lot of Republicans like are still denying that like humans are causing climate change, and just that fact alone kind of like is one reason I wouldn't vote for that side, which is like absolutely mind blowing. Even though I might support them on some other things, so that is one benefit I think from having so many parties here in Sweden.